I'm really excited to see so many of you coming out on a Thursday evening. I know some of you come straight from work, so others have come straight from the plane or from the car, but thank you so much for coming out tonight as well. And welcome to those of you who are joining us online. And we hope that you're going to be with us throughout this conference, wherever you are watching us. I'm going to just share a couple of thoughts as to why I feel it's important to do something like GAiN. To do a conference where we explore the possibilities of technology, where we explore what can we as a local church, as a church member, as an individual do with technology to enhance the mission of the church. I'm going to spend about 10 minutes on that, so I'm just going to run through a couple of slides with you. Let me see. I want us to just recognize that a lot of times when I'm out in churches, I hear that people are not happy, that so many of the younger generation, and I think they look at me as well and still think I'm younger, Peter, I'm sure that's with you as well, and they're like, people are spending too much time online. Has any of you heard that complaint before? Yes. And I think we have to recognize that today, online living is as real as what we call old-time living. So people are living online as much as they are living offline. Online is where a lot of relationships are built. This is where a lot of things happen. The internet is today's marketplace. We need to have a presence there. If we do not have a presence, or if we're not available as a minister, available to reach out, but also if we don't have a presence as a church community online, we basically do not exist. If your church cannot be Googled, I wanted to give you a serious challenge. You need to consider, what is your place online? If I can't find a restaurant online for the first time, or a travel agent, I most likely am not even going to go to that place. Would you agree with me? So let's think of how can we, this is a conference to help you, empower you in using technology to actually enhance who you are as a church, who we are as Adventists, and what we are made of. Doug, I'm just trying to, the one on top, all right, next one. What we have seen in our life is that we've been moving from what is called an information age, where everything happens linear, where we're now moving into an innovation age, where we see a much higher exponential growth, meaning that today kids are born with these. Those of you who've seen children, they use them better than anyone else. A 2-year-old can find things on your iPad that you didn't even know. They can also find it on your Nexus or whatever tablet system you choose to use. So we are seeing an exponential growth in technology, and it means that we cannot always keep up with everything. However, we need to understand the principles and need to understand how can we use what we have and keep up with the growth, even though the growth might overtake us. How can we still be informed? Because what we're seeing in today's world with the vast expanding technology around us is that technology today is remaking reality. These are some of the key abilities. I was at GAiN in Baltimore 2 weeks ago, and Martha Gabrielle shared a brilliant presentation. So this was this is one of my notes from her presentations, where she says, these are the key abilities of what we're going to be looking for in the 21st century. If you're looking for employment, if you're looking for making an impact in your community, we are looking for people who can be critical thinkers, that are able to discern and detect problems and opportunities in what we are seeing as an ever-changing environment in front of us. We're looking for people who are going to be impacted by being creative and innovative, for solving new problems that emerge and take advantage of the new opportunities presented to us. And above all, people are needing to be connected, both with people, but also with technology. This is what research is showing us are the key abilities for any person moving in to be relevant in the 21st century. And I think when we're talking about any person, I also believe that is what our churches should reflect. We need to reflect critical thinking. We need to be creative and innovative. We need to connect with people. There's nothing unbiblical in that. On the contrary, isn't there? We are living in Europe where we cannot rely on old methods of evangelism only. We have to be innovative in how we're telling the story of Christ, because that's what we all are called to. We are called to be storytellers of the story that God has come into this world with his redemptive story of salvation, and through us telling his story, by telling our story, we become part of that narrative that is relevant in today's world. People are interested in stories. How we share them, hopefully we'll be learning more about how to do that this week. But Peter Drucker said that the greatest danger in times of turbulence is not the turbulence, it is to act with yesterday's logic. And I want to put that out to you today, that we're thinking of that in forms of technology, how we are advancing our church, how we are advancing the mission of who we are. If we keep going with yesterday's logic in a time where technology is so fastly growing, we will just be lost behind. We have to look at how can we, with the message that we have, use what is around us in sharing God in a narrative way. How can we tell the story today to those who are the digital nomads, to those who are living online, and to people who are born in a digital age? Do you recognize that people under 20 will never know not to have the internet available? I'm going to say 20 because that makes me still feel, okay, I'm not that much, well, I am, but double that. But anyway, people today are never going to know the times when they did not have information accessible at their fingertips. We also know that the internet is filled with facts. All our messages are out there. All our truth and all our beliefs are online. So we also have to recognize today that if information was what changed people into becoming Christians and Adventists, it would have happened a long time ago because it's available. So information alone is not enough, and that's where we have to be innovative in how we're using technology, how we're using what we have available now, and also looking at how can we move forward. How can we grasp new opportunities that are just forming, just not even defined yet? How can we maximize the uses of that for expanding the kingdom of God? My challenge to you this weekend is that you learn how to connect with the digital nomads using the technology that is in your hand. Because less and less people are actually going to go home and look at the internet from their stationary computer in the office. Everything is mobile. Everything is in your hand. And how can we use what we carry around to connect with people and to help people connect with God? So this weekend is about learning to navigate the digital landscape to enable you to create a vision for your church that helps your church connect, not just with the World Wide Web, everybody out there, but also be relevant in your local community through making real, valuable connections. I think it is really clear that we do not have a choice. Our reality today is we have to embrace technology in our churches and in how we share the message of God. And you know what? That is so Adventist. Our pioneers were on the cutting edge when it came to using the printing press, which many will think of today, well, that's a little bit old-fashioned. But our church was the first one to actually do a denominational paper, and even in another language. That's at least what I think. I'm having some people looking questionable at the back row, so I might not be, that's what I have read. But anyway, we were out there first in being on the cutting edge of sharing our message through the printed press. And even our friends in America realized back then at the start of our church that they even needed to print it in another language. Hence, I stand here because one of my forefathers picked up a leaflet in Norwegian in Minnesota and decided to go back to Denmark as an Adventist. So the printing press has a lot to answer for in many ways, but we were on the forefront back then. There's nothing that keeps us from being on the forefront of technology and using what we have in our hand to share the message of God in today's world. And it is my prayer that you will be blessed this weekend, that you will be inspired, that the presenters that we have lined up will help you just engage, but also to think critically and look at how can we do better as a church in sharing who God is through technology, through connecting with people, and being who we are. Sharing God in the ever-changing and ever-turbulent times that we are in. So I hope this is a challenge that you will take up. If you are not aware of it, GAiN stands for Global Adventist Internet Network. We have a little welcome to you from the General Conference Communication Director, Costas Williams, and we are just happy that he will just send us a little greeting, which is recorded on a phone. So even on a local phone, you can record enough, and you all know that. But let's just see if we can see a greeting from him.
Welcome to GAiN in England. We are excited that you are there participating. I think that will be a wonderful experience to all of you.
He was busy. He was running to lunch. But we are grateful that he is excited about us having a regional GAiN. The first time a local conference is actually hosting a GAiN. And the father of the GAiN conference, the GAiN gathering, when it used to be GAiN, Global Internet Evangelism Network, is actually Pastor Ray Dabrowski. And I don't even know how to introduce Ray, but I would like you just to pull out who he is in your folder. Ray has been groundbreaking in developing communication strategies, in lifting the game of the communication and media departments on our global level. When I was a student here, he was running around up in St. Albans as the Director of Communication for the Trans-European Division. So I remember him from back then. Then he went and was our General Conference Communication Director in GC for a number of years. But a lot of us, of my generation, owe a lot to Ray for being groundbreaking, for actually taking the courage of being real about news, about being real about lifting the communication and media department up to a more professional level within our church. So I am really honored and privileged that Ray Dabrowski will come and be one of our speakers today. And I've asked him to have the keynote presentation this evening. Ray, please.